The world keeps spinning faster. More noise, more news. It's a constant test. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic, he said the soul takes on the color of its thoughts. That tranquility is inside, even when the storm is outside. That idea, it feels more relevant now. This isn't about some distant ideal. It's a practical guide for building a mind that can't be conquered. Right here, right now, you'll end up with a complete toolkit, 20 mental disciplines taken from ancient Stoic wisdom. They're designed to forge resilience, real clarity, when everything feels uncertain. These aren't abstract ideas, they're concrete habits. You can start them today. So how did a philosophy from 2,000 years ago do it? Face turmoil with calm strength. And what does that look like now in a modern life? With digital distractions, constant pressure, what's the single mental shift, the one that turns an obstacle from a frustration into fuel? The journey starts with a question. A simple one, powerful. What is the true foundation of a mind that cannot be conquered? The first habit is clear thinking, not positive thinking. It's an old Stoic practice called Premeditatio Malorum. The premeditation of hardships, that might sound grim, like dwelling on what could go wrong, but it's not. The Stoics, Seneca, they did this not to be pessimists but to be realists. To build a kind of mental immunity, it's like walking in the dark. You bump into a chair, you jump, your heart races. But if you'd remembered the chair was there, pictured its location, you wouldn't have been shocked. You'd have walked around it calmly. Premeditatio Malorum is turning on the mental light before you walk into the day, rehearsing challenges not to fear them, but to disarm them. Seneca wrote about this. He said what's unlooked for is more crushing. Unexpectedness adds weight to a disaster. The fact it was unforeseen intensifies grief. That's profound psychology. The shock, the surprise, that's what often damages our peace of mind. By anticipating life's uncertainties, we strip them of their power to ambush us. In a modern morning, this isn't doom scrolling, it's a focused 5 minutes. Before you check your phone, before the noise, you sit quietly. You ask one question. What could today realistically throw at me that would test my calm? Maybe a difficult conversation with a colleague. You mentally walk through it. You see yourself listening patiently, responding with clarity, not reactive emotion. Or a travel delay on your commute. You consider it. You think, if that happens, I have my headphones, a podcast queued up. I can use that time. You're not wishing for these things. You're just seeing them as possibilities and rehearsing your calm, reasoned response. This practice does something. It moves obstacles from terrifying surprises into manageable scenarios. They become problems you've already considered, problems you're already equipped to handle. So one common daily stressor. If you took 2 minutes to mentally rehearse facing it with composure, it would lose its grip. A long line at the coffee shop, a last-minute request from your boss, see it coming, plan your inner response. That's the foundation. It starts by refusing to be surprised by the very nature of life itself. The evening examination is the second habit. The Stoics called it meditatio. It's a nightly audit of your own mind, a conversation with your conscience. The first habit prepares you for what's coming. This one refines you from what's already past. Epictetus made a simple distinction. We are disturbed not by events, but by the views we take of them. The event itself is neutral. Your judgment about it, that's where your peace of mind is won or lost. This practice is for spotting that exact moment. The moment you surrendered your calm to something outside, you sit quietly at the end of the day. You ask 3 questions. First, what did I judge poorly today? Where did I call something catastrophic when it was just inconvenient? Maybe traffic, you were stuck and you fumed. You judged it as a personal attack. The event was traffic, your judgment was the anger. The examination separates the two. Second, where did I act against my own values? Did I speak harshly when patience was needed? Did I choose distraction over something meaningful? This isn't about guilt, it's about seeing the gap between who you want to be and the choices you made. Third, what's one small thing I can do better tomorrow? This turns reflection into motion, maybe taking a breath before answering a provoking email, or seeing a setback as a puzzle, not a disaster. Epictetus told his students to examine their impressions, to hold them up to the light before accepting them as truth. Your impression that a critical comment ruins your day, that's just an impression. You can question it, you can choose a different one. So tonight, commit to 5 minutes before sleep, review your day with curiosity. Find one reaction, a moment of frustration. Trace it back to the judgment that fueled it. Ask, was that event truly bad, or did my thinking make it so? This nightly audit builds a profound self-awareness. It becomes your defense against chaos. It teaches you that your mind isn't a passive recipient of the day. It's an active interpreter, and you hold the pen. There's this one habit that can cut out a huge amount of anxiety. The third discipline is the dichotomy of control. It's the main filter the Stoics used for reality. A mental sorting system you put on any challenge that comes up. The idea comes from Epictetus. He started his handbook with this exact point. Some things are up to us, he wrote, and some things are not. What's up to us are our opinions, our impulses, what we want, what we avoid. Basically, whatever is our own action. What's not up to us are our body, our property, our reputation, any public position. Basically, whatever isn't our own action. This isn't about just accepting things, it's about getting clear. It's a tool for saving your most important resource. Your emotional energy. By sorting a problem instantly, you know where to put your effort, and just as key, where to pull your effort back. Think about it like this. Your attention is limited. Every time you spend it worrying over something you can't change, you're draining the reserve you have for the things you can. The dichotomy of control shows you how to stop that leak, to plug it. So take a real case. You've got a big presentation. You're nervous. Use the filter. What's not in your control? What your colleagues think, whether the tech works perfectly, your manager's mood that day. Put those in a category. See them. And then choose to let go of your mental hold on them. They're external events. Now, what is in your control? Your preparation, how clear your slides are. Practicing your talk, choosing to get good sleep the night before. The attitude you walk in with. Put all your focus there, into that circle, or a personal worry. You're worried what a friend thinks about a choice you made. Their opinion, that's outside your control. You can't control another person's thoughts. Your actions, your explanations, your honesty, those are inside. So you act with integrity, you say what you mean, and then you let go of needing a particular reaction. The anxiety fades because you've done what you can. This practice turns chaos into a simple equation. When a storm comes, you don't waste energy yelling at the wind. You board up the windows, you light a candle, you focus on the actions you can take right then. So here's something to try. Before you finish, just make a mental note. Or pause and write down 3 current worries, just 3. Next to each, make 2 columns. What about this is within my control, and what is not? The act of writing forces the sorting. It moves the problem from a vague cloud of anxiety into a structured map. And on that map, your way forward becomes clear, undeniably clear. The Romans had a word for this, ascesis. It means training the will. It's the 4th habit, cultivating voluntary discomfort, not seeking pain for its own sake. That's not resilience, that's punishment. The Stoic version was a deliberate choice, a conscious step away from ease, to prove to yourself that your sense of okayness isn't chained to perfect conditions. Cato the Younger, a Roman senator, was known for his rigid Stoic principles. He was famous for this. He would walk through Rome in simple, outdated clothing. On purpose, he would go barefoot in bad weather. He ate plain food. Why? To remind himself that he could, to show himself that his dignity, his character, didn't rely on fine robes or a full stomach. Another teacher, Musonius Rufus, taught that practicing hardship was like a soldier drilling in peacetime. You build the muscle memory for when real challenges arrive. So you aren't paralyzed by them. Seneca captured the heart of it. He wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, be content with the scantiest fare, the coarsest dress. And say to yourself, is this the condition that I feared? Practicing poverty," he argued, "is what makes you truly rich, because it breaks the illusion. The illusion that you need a specific thing to be happy. It shows you the wealth you already possess inside. So what does this look like now, in a world built for convenience? It's about small, intentional breaks from automatic comfort. Taking a walk when the weather is a little too cold or a little too warm, not waiting for the perfect day. Turning off the heater for an hour and putting on a sweater, just to remember you can handle a slight chill. A digital detox for a single evening, leaving your phone in another room and sitting with your own thoughts. Choosing the harder, steeper path on a hike, skipping that second coffee, not because you have to, but because you want to test your focus without it. Each of these tiny acts is a vote for your own inner strength. They are rehearsals for life's inevitable inconveniences. When your flight is delayed, you've already practiced patience with discomfort. When plans fall through, you've already practiced flexibility. You've proven to your own nervous system that a dip in comfort isn't an emergency. It's just a change in the weather. And you are the shelter, so here's a simple challenge for this week. Choose one small daily comfort, something minor and safe. Maybe it's taking a cooler shower than usual for 1 minute. Maybe it's foregoing a streaming service you usually watch, sitting in silence instead. Maybe it's walking to the store instead of driving. Do it once. And as you do, pay close attention. Observe the initial internal resistance, that little voice that says this is unnecessary or silly. Then watch what happens after you push through it. You'll likely find a quiet, surprising sense of capability waiting on the other side, a proof that you are far less fragile than your routines might have you believe. Between the thing that happens and what you do next, there's this open space. That's the fifth habit, that pause. It's the Stoic discipline, the practical one. The pause before you react. It's putting that idea to work, the idea that our power isn't in the event itself, but in what we decide about it. And to decide, you need a moment of quiet. The Stoics had a word for this, prohesis, your moral choice, your ability to say yes or no to the thoughts that rush in. It's like a guard at the gate. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this all the time, this inner fortress. He'd remind himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. See that, and you find strength. He pictured himself as a rock with waves constantly crashing against it. The waves are chaos, they're unpredictable and strong, but the rock, it just stands there. Not by fighting the water, but by being solid, by being present. The pause is you becoming that rock. It's you choosing not to get carried off by the first rough thought. Think of your mind like a still pond. An event is a stone thrown in. Your instant reactive feeling is the splash, all the wild ripples. The pause is when you wait. You let the water calm down so you can see the stone clearly, sitting there on the bottom. Then you decide what to do about it. So in a real moment, one that's frustrating. You get a blunt email from someone at work. Your body tightens, your heart beats faster. The first thought shouts that this is an attack. The old, reactive part of your brain is ready to hit reply with something just as sharp. This is the point, the space between what happened and what you do. In that space, you have a choice. You can let the splash decide for you, or you can put the pause in. You close the laptop, you stand up, you take 3 slow breaths, just focusing on the air going in and out. In those few seconds, something changes. The first heat of the feeling starts to fade. Reason gets a chance. You might ask, is there anything true in this feedback I can use? What is this person actually trying to say, even if they're saying it badly? What response helps my long-term goals, not just my pride right now? The reply you write from that settled place, it's completely different. It might be measured, it might be curious, professional. It turns what could have been a fight into something you can learn from, or another trigger, a common one. Someone cuts you off in traffic. The immediate surge is anger, maybe you yell something. The pause is a conscious grip on the wheel and a deep breath. In that breath, you remember the dichotomy of control. What that driver did is outside your control. Your safety, your calm, what you do next, that's inside your control. You let the car go. You bring your focus back to the road. The event lasts seconds, and your peace of mind stays whole. That's the power of the pause. It's the difference between being pulled by circumstances and writing your own character. So here's a prompt for this habit. Find your most common trigger. Is it a certain tone of voice, a plan changing suddenly, feeling slighted? Just name it to yourself, then make one simple commitment. The very next time it happens, you won't act right away. You'll put in the pause. You'll take one deep breath, 3 seconds in through the nose, 3 seconds out through the mouth. And in that short, quiet space, you take back your rehearsals. You become the god of your own mind. The sixth habit is the view from above. The Stoics had a word for it, prosach. It means attention, but a particular kind. It's attention to the bigger picture. You mentally zoom out. You deliberately see your struggle, your worry, as just one small part of something vast. The cosmos, human history, or even just the longer arc of your own life. Marcus Aurelius used this constantly. In his private writings, he'd remind himself to take this cosmic perspective. He wrote about how all things are forgotten in the river of time, how the vastness of what exists is immense, and your little corner of it is so small. He wasn't trying to make his problems meaningless. He was trying to make them manageable, to drain the melodrama from a moment, to humble his own worries by placing them against the backdrop of eternity. That's the Stoic virtue of wisdom. It's the wisdom to see that most of what consumes our emotional energy is, in the grand scheme, a passing shadow. Think about the last time a problem felt all-consuming. A conflict at home, a deadline that felt like the end of the world. In that moment, your mental camera is zoomed in tight. All you see is the texture of the problem, the immediate pressure. The view from above pulls that camera back, way back. Here's how you practice it. You're overwhelmed by a work project. It's late, the stakes feel high, your mind is racing. Close your eyes for 30 seconds. Imagine you're floating upward. You see yourself at your desk, a tiny figure in a room. You keep rising. You see your building. Then your city from above, a grid of lights and moving cars. You rise further. You see the continent, the curve of the earth, the blue marble hanging in the black silence of space. From there, your project, your deadline, your worry. It's a single, silent thought in one tiny mind on a speck of dust. It doesn't erase the responsibility, but it changes the emotional charge around it. You see its true scale. It's a task, not a catastrophe, or in a personal conflict. You're hurt by something someone said. The feeling is raw and close. Use the view from above. See the two of you in the room. Then see your street, your neighborhood, filled with hundreds of other people, each with their own private joys and heartaches. See the years stretching behind you and ahead of you. Will this moment, this specific hurt, matter in 5 years? Will it even be remembered? Often the answer is no. That realization isn't dismissive, it's liberating. It gives you space to choose a response from a place of calm, not from a place of feeling cornered. So the next time a problem swells to fill your entire mental sky, try this. Pause, breathe, consciously pull your perspective upward. See your life as a single thread in a vast, ancient tapestry. See the current struggle as a brief scene in a long story. From that vantage point, you regain a sense of peace. The storm is still there, but you are no longer standing in the middle of it. You are the sky watching it pass. The Stoics had this idea, this radical habit, to fall in love with your obstacles. That's the seventh discipline, amor fati. It's a Latin phrase. It means a love of your fate, and it's the ultimate acceptance, but it's not passive. It's not just gritting your teeth and saying, "Fine, I'll deal with it." That's endurance. Amor fati is something else. It's an active choice, a deliberate choice to embrace everything that happens, to see it not as some random blow, but as the exact material you need. The material to become who you're meant to be, as if you had chosen it yourself. Epictetus gave voice to this. He said, "Don't seek for events to happen as you wish. Wish for events to happen as they do, and your life will go well." It's a complete inversion. We spend so much energy wishing reality were different, wishing the traffic was gone, the person was kinder, the opportunity hadn't slipped away. Epictetus says, stop that. Wish for what is, because what is the only reality you can work with. It's the raw material for your character. To love your fate is to see every event, especially the difficult ones, as a necessary part of your story. A teacher, not a tormentor. So how do you practice it? It starts with a shift in your internal dialogue. When something happens you'd normally call bad, you pause. You ask a different question. Not why is this happening to me, but what is this trying to teach me? Where is the opportunity hidden inside this? The opportunity for strength, for patience, for creativity. Take a practical example. You miss out on a promotion you worked hard for. The immediate reaction is disappointment, maybe bitterness. Amor fati asks you to look deeper. What if not getting that role forces you to re-evaluate your path? What if it reveals a skill you need to develop, or it keeps you in a position where you can have a greater impact on your team? Or it frees you to explore an idea you've been neglecting. The failure becomes a redirect, a necessary nudge toward a better alignment, or an unexpected change of plans. Your long-awaited vacation gets cancelled. Instead of fuming, you lean into the new reality. You might find a quiet weekend at home lets you reconnect with family in a way a hectic trip wouldn't have. You finally read that book, you start a small project, you find a different kind of restoration. You learn that joy isn't confined to a specific itinerary. This habit trains you to look for the hidden why, to trust that even in chaos there's a thread of potential benefit if you have the eyes to see it. It builds a profound resilience because it removes the internal war against reality. You stop fighting what is, and you start working with it. So think of a recent disappointment, however small. A plan that fell through, a mistake you made, a goal you didn't reach. Instead of focusing on the loss, brainstorm. Write down one potential benefit. One lesson or one door that might have closed so another could open. Just one. This simple act begins the rewiring. It starts the practice of not just accepting your fate, but learning to love it for the strength it brings. Roman generals had this ritual during their triumphs. There was a slave standing right behind the commander in his chariot while the crowds were cheering. And that slave's only job was to whisper one thing over and over into the general's ear. "You are mortal. Remember, you must die." That was the eighth habit, memento mori. It sounds dark to us now, but for the Stoics it wasn't dark. It was a tool for clarity, a way to cut through all the noise in life to see what actually mattered. The whisper wasn't supposed to paralyze you. It was supposed to ignite you. It was a grounding wire against the intoxication of success, the distraction of ego. Remembering the absolute limit of their time forced these leaders to confront a question. If this all ends, what am I doing with the time I have right now? Seneca wrote about this. He said it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Life is long enough, he observed, if you know how to use it. But we act like we'll live forever. We put off what matters. We are dying every day, he noted. A little life is used up with each hour. The man who has lived the most isn't the one with the most years, but the one with the most life in his years. Memento mori is the alarm clock. It wakes us from that procrastination. It turns the abstract idea of a finite life into a daily, practical urgency. So how do you practice this without dwelling in gloom? It's about gentle reflection, regular perspective, not fixation. One simple method is a morning or evening contemplation. As you start your day, take 60 seconds. Acknowledge that today is a gift. It's one of a finite number. How will I use this one well? What single action today would align with my deepest values? That frames the day not as a mundane sequence of tasks, but as a meaningful opportunity. Another is a physical memento mori. The Stoics didn't use grim symbols. They used objects that represented the beauty and fragility of life. A smooth stone in your pocket, a ring you wear daily, even the changing seasons outside your window. The point of the object is to be a tactile cue. When you see it or touch it, it brings you back to the present. It asks, are you living right now or just waiting for later? The power of this habit is it can instantly reorder your priorities. A petty argument, a bureaucratic frustration, a fear of what others think, these things shrink. They shrink to their proper size when held against the backdrop of your limited time. They lose their power to consume your emotional energy. So here's a reflective prompt to make this concrete. It's a question to sit with, not to answer hastily. If you knew for certain that you had 1 year of vibrant health and capability left, what would you stop doing immediately? And what would you start? The stop list is often the clutter, the complaints, the people-pleasing, the meaningless scrolling, the holding of grudges. The start list is the essence, the conversations, the creative project, the travel, the forgiveness, the simple presence with loved ones. Memento mori isn't about death. It's the key to a life lived fully right now while you still can. Everything is connected. Modern physics says it, and the ancient Stoics had a word for it, sympatheia. It's this rational understanding that you're not an island, you're a thread in a fabric. The universe is a shared system, and every person is part of it. For the Stoics, this wasn't poetry. It was the foundation of ethics, of resilience, and recognizing it does two things. It shrinks your ego, and it expands your sense of belonging. Your struggles stop feeling like unique punishments. They're just part of the human condition. Marcus Aurelius kept coming back to this. He'd write to himself, remember you're part of a whole. A citizen of this great universe. What doesn't benefit the hive doesn't benefit the bee. He saw humanity as one organism. A hand can't function against the foot. We can't thrive in conflict. Our shared rationality is the bond, and that perspective creates a duty, not a heavy burden, but a natural responsibility. Like a cell in a body, your health affects the whole. Your calm in chaos isn't just for you. It's a stabilizing force in your corner of the network, so practicing this. It starts in a moment of frustration with a reckless driver, a dismissive coworker, a difficult family member. In that moment, sympatheia asks you to step back. See them not as an obstacle, but as another actor in the same play. They're driven by their own fears, their own desires, their own flawed judgments. They're trying to navigate the world with the tools they have. That doesn't excuse harmful behavior, but it explains it. It replaces anger with a clearer, more detached understanding. Imagine you're in a long line at a store. The person ahead is arguing with the cashier, holding everyone up. The easy reaction is irritation, but sympatheia offers a different lens. That person might be overwhelmed, scared about a bill, having the worst day of their year, and you share a common experience right then, the frustration of waiting, the desire to be elsewhere. That shared experience is a point of connection. Your calm patience becomes a small counterweight to the tension, a contribution to the peace of that tiny public space. This habit is especially potent when you feel isolated in your own hardship. a personal loss, a professional failure, deep uncertainty, your mind tells you you're alone. Sympatheia whispers back, look around. Across all of human history, right now, millions are feeling a version of this same ache. You are connected to them by the very fact of your struggle. That doesn't diminish your pain, but it can soften the sharp edges of loneliness that make pain worse. You are part of a story much bigger than your own chapter. So a prompt to ground this: think of one person you're in conflict with, or who just irritates you. A public figure, a neighbor, someone at work. Set aside the grievance for a moment and reflect on one fundamental thing you undoubtedly share. Maybe it's the desire to be safe, to be respected, to provide for a family, or even just the universal experience of physical pain or joy. Identifying that single common thread can be the first step. It dissolves the illusion of separation. It turns an adversary into a fellow traveler, and in doing that, it makes your own mind a little more unconquerable. Every unconquerable mind has a center, a strong, well-defined center. That's the 10th habit defining your inner citadel. It's the architecture of your character. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this. He talked about retreating into the self. He said, you have a mind of your own, so go into it. There's a fortress inside. When the world gets loud, you don't run away. You withdraw into this quiet place you've built. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about having a home base so solid that nothing outside can shake your foundation. Your peace comes from knowing what you stand for, not from what others say. Praise and criticism become the same thing, just whether passing by the walls. The Stoic exercise is simple. You have to define the pillars of your own citadel. What are the core virtues, the principles you won't compromise, no matter the chaos? For Marcus, these were justice, courage, temperance, wisdom. He'd remind himself, today I'll meet interference, ingratitude, but I have the resources of my soul. They can't touch my character unless I let them. Your list might be different. It could be integrity. Your word is your bond. It could be compassion, a commitment to understand before judging. It could be resilience itself, the promise to get back up. The key is to choose a few, write them down, know them by heart. This becomes your decision-making filter. When a hard choice comes, you don't ask what's easiest. You ask which option aligns with your pillars, which action is consistent with the person I've decided to be. If a business deal means cutting a moral corner, your pillar of integrity says no. If a social situation pushes you to gossip, your pillar of compassion asks for a change of subject. Or a graceful exit, the chaos of opinions loses its power. You have an internal compass, and you've calibrated it yourself. So the practical work: find a quiet moment. Take a piece of paper or a note on your phone. Write down the 3 pillars of your inner citadel. Just 3 core principles. Don't overthink it. What 3 words, when you look at them, make you feel solid? Like you've named the bedrock of who you are. Keep that list somewhere you can see. Let those words be the blueprint for the unconquerable space you're building. One conscious choice at a time. Your first thought is usually just a reaction. It's not really yours. The second thought, that's where you can be stoic. That's the 11th habit, the discipline of assent. It's this practice of guarding your own mind. Before a feeling, an impression, a snap judgment gets inside and starts deciding things for you, you stop it. You question it. You only let it in if it makes sense. This is the first of the 3 Stoic disciplines, and your peace starts right there. Epictetus explained it. We're disturbed, he said, not by what happens, but by what we think about what happens. The event itself is neutral. It's your immediate, often unconscious, judgment about it that causes the trouble. So the discipline of assent is about creating a space, a moment of choice between the thing and your view of it. Picture your mind as a courtroom. An impression walks in, a feeling of insult, a spike of anxiety, a hit of envy. In the old way, you just swear that impression in as a witness. You'd accept its story as the whole truth. The discipline makes you the judge. You don't just take the testimony. You cross-examine it, you ask for evidence, you see if it holds up under logic. Take a real moment. Someone makes a dismissive comment about your work in a meeting. The first impression, the one that barges in, shouts, "That was an insult, they don't respect me, this is terrible." If you assent to that, you feel hurt. You get defensive, you're angry for hours, but if you practice the discipline, you pause, you hold that impression at the door, you question it. First, is this truly an insult, or is it just poorly delivered feedback? Maybe they're having a bad day, maybe they're just blunt. Second, is this person's opinion of me within my control? No, it's not. I can control my work, my response, but not their private thoughts. Third, does believing this impression of insult help my peace? Does it help my goals? No. It fuels resentment. It's a distraction. After that cross-examination, you can choose a different view. A more rational one, maybe. This is just data. There might be a useful piece of criticism in here, or maybe it's just noise. Either way, my worth isn't decided by it. Then you give your assent only to that calmer perspective. The emotional charge just dissolves. This habit is a constant, gentle watch over your inner talk. It's noticing when you think, "This traffic is ruining my day," and challenging it. Is the traffic making me feel this way, or am I choosing to see it as some personal attack on my schedule? What if I see it as 10 minutes to listen to a podcast? You change the judgment, and you change your emotional world. So here's a prompt to make it real today. Try to catch just one automatic negative thought. It might be, "I'll never get this done," or "They're ignoring me on purpose," or "This always happens to me." When you notice it, don't just let it run. Stop. Ask it 3 simple questions before you believe it. 1. Is this thought absolutely, objectively true? 2. Is believing this thought helpful or harmful to me right now? And 3. What's a more reasonable, more generous, or more useful way to see this situation? That act of questioning that's you building the fortress, one brick of conscious assent at a time. What if you could only want what you's guaranteed to get? That's the question at the heart of Stoic practice. It reveals the 12th habit, the discipline of desire. It's not about suppressing what you want. It's about redirecting that wanting toward the only thing that can't be taken from you, your own character, your own actions. The Stoics called this orexis, a rational, directed longing, and they taught that true freedom comes from aligning that longing with what is virtuous, with what is within your control. Every other desire is a chain. It ties your peace of mind to fortune, to unpredictable winds. Epictetus gave the clearest instruction. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear principle. Some things are up to us and some are not. Do not desire what is not up to us. If you long for wealth, you've made yourself a slave to markets, to chance. If you crave praise, you've handed your self-worth to others, to their opinions. But if you desire to act with courage, with justice, with wisdom, that is entirely up to you. No one can stop you from wanting that. No external event can prevent you from pursuing it. This is the radical shift. It moves the target from an external prize to an internal state. So what does this look like? It's a subtle reframing of your goals. Take a common desire. I want to get this promotion. That's a natural ambition, but in the Stoic view, that desire is fraught. The promotion depends on a manager's decision, on office politics, budget cycles, things outside your full control. If you tie your happiness to that outcome, you set yourself up for anxiety while you wait, and potential bitterness if it doesn't happen. The discipline of desire asks you to change the object. Instead of "I want to get this promotion," you cultivate the desire. "I want to perform my duties with such excellence that I become the obvious choice. I want to lead my team with fairness whether I have the title or not. I want to grow my skills and contribute value regardless of the recognition." Do you feel the difference? The first desire leaves you at the mercy of an outcome. The second empowers you right now. It gives you a virtuous action to pursue today, this very hour. The promotion may or may not come, but your peace is no longer hostage to it. You've already achieved what you truly desired, the act of showing up with excellence. This applies everywhere. I want this person to like me becomes I want to be kind and authentic in all my interactions. I want to avoid this difficult conversation becomes I want to communicate with honesty and respect, no matter how the other person reacts. You stop wanting specific results from the world, and you start wanting specific qualities from yourself. So here is a reflective prompt. Think of one current strong desire in your life. Something you're really hoping for, a relationship milestone, a financial goal, a professional achievement. Write it down. Now, gently reframe it. Ask yourself, what virtuous action entirely within my control is at the heart of this desire? If it's a financial goal, perhaps the core desire is to act with discipline and prudence with the resources I have. If it's a relationship hope, perhaps the core desire is to be a patient and understanding partner. By shifting your want from the external trophy to the internal practice, you build an unconquerable calm. You are no longer waiting for life to grant you a wish. You are living the virtue you wished for right now. Stoicism isn't passive. There's a final discipline about how you move through the world. The 13th habit, the discipline of action. It's the outward expression of all the inner work. After you've guarded your thoughts, directed your desires, this is where you put your character into motion. For the Stoics, a human being is rational and social by nature. Our highest purpose is to act in accordance with that nature, to contribute to the common good. Even when everything feels chaotic, especially then, your inner citadel isn't a place to hide forever. It's a base of operations, a place you leave from to act with justice, with kindness, with a sense of duty toward the whole. Marcus Aurelius wrote about this constantly. He'd remind himself to get out of bed and do the work of a human being. What complaint do you have, he'd ask, if you're doing what you're designed to do? He used the analogy of a bee. A bee doesn't stop being a bee when the weather turns. It goes out, gathers pollen, contributes to the hive, fulfills its function. That's its nature. For us, our function is to act rationally and socially, to do the right thing, not for applause or reward, but because it is right. Because it strengthens the web of connections we all depend on. This habit is the ultimate test. Can you maintain your commitment to the common good when you yourself are under stress? When you're tired, frustrated, afraid, that's when it counts most. Your action then becomes a signal to yourself and to the world that your principles aren't fair weather decorations. They are the engine of your behavior. So what does this look like practically? It's small, deliberate acts of service or fairness, especially when you're least inclined to do them. Holding the door for someone when you're rushing and preoccupied. Taking the time to give clear, patient instructions to a new colleague, even though your own workload is heavy. Choosing to speak well of someone who isn't in the room, cutting off a chain of gossip. In a tense family discussion, listening to understand, not just to reply. Each of these is a brick in the common good, and each one, when done from a place of inner stability, reinforces that stability. It proves to you that your peace isn't fragile. It can be shared. Think of it as a kind of social resilience. When chaos hits a community, a natural event, a period of collective anxiety, the people who step up to check on a neighbor, to share resources, to offer calm reassurance, they are practicing this Stoic discipline. They are aligning their actions with their social nature, and in doing so, they become anchors. Their unconquerable mindset becomes a public utility. It makes the chaos around them a little more manageable for everyone. Here's a prompt to bring this into your day. Plan one small, other-focused action you can take today. Purely for the sake of the common good, with no expectation of anything in return. It doesn't need to be grand. It could be sending a genuine note of appreciation to someone who won't see it coming. Picking up a piece of litter on your walk, letting a car merge ahead of you with a wave, not a sigh. Just one conscious act, plan it now, and when you perform it, notice the quiet shift inside. You are no longer just enduring the world, you are actively, purposefully making it better, and that is the mark of a mind that is truly unconquerable. The Stoics have this habit, negative visualization. It's the 14th one. You mentally lose what you have. It sounds contradictory. How does thinking about loss make you more grateful? But it's the perfect partner to that first habit, anticipating hardships. Premeditatio malorum gets you ready for outside challenges. Negative visualization changes your inner relationship with the good things in your life. It builds a deep, active gratitude. The Stoics called it gratia, and it works through a simple, deliberate act of imagination. Seneca wrote about this. He said to love the people in your life knowing they are mortal, to hold in your mind that this person, this moment of health, this security, it's all on loan. He told us to enjoy what we have, not to crave what we don't have, but also to remember what you have right now you once prayed for. The practice of losing it in your mind brings that truth back. It inoculates you, it protects you from the slow disease of taking things for granted, and there's a second benefit. It softens the blow if a loss ever does happen. By visiting that landscape in your imagination, you're not ambushed by it in reality. You've already felt the shape of that grief, and in doing that, you've strengthened your appreciation for the present gift. Here's how you do it. It only takes a few quiet minutes. You focus on one thing you deeply value. Maybe it's a key relationship, your partner, a parent, a close friend. You close your eyes, you vividly imagine a world where that person is gone. You picture the silence in your home, the empty chair at the table, the conversations you can't have anymore. You don't dwell in morbid detail, you just let the feeling of absence wash over you. Then you open your eyes, you return to the present moment where that person is right there. In the next room or a phone call away, the contrast is startling. The ordinary suddenly feels extraordinary. That minor annoyance you felt with them an hour ago dissolves. What's left is a clean, sharp gratitude for their very existence. You can apply this to anything, your health. Imagine waking up and not being able to move without pain. Not breathing easily, not seeing the sunrise. Sit with that imagined limitation for just 60 seconds. Then feel the miracle of your body as it is right now. Your home, imagine it gone, your possessions scattered, your sanctuary lost. Then look around the room you're in. See it not as a given, but as a shelter you're privileged to inhabit. This practice doesn't breed fear. It breeds a fierce, joyful appreciation. It turns blessings from background noise into the main melody of your life. It reminds you that everything is temporary, and that awareness makes the present infinitely more precious. So here's a reflective prompt. Before you go to sleep tonight, choose one thing you're genuinely grateful for. It could be as simple as the warmth of your bed, the loyalty of a pet, the ability to read these words. Spend just 2 minutes. Imagine, gently and calmly, what your life would be like without it. Then let that thought go. Return to the reality that you still have it. Feel the difference that creates in your heart. That's the Stoic art of loving what you have by remembering that you could, one day, have it no more. The Stoics had this figure they called the sage. It was their North Star. The 15th habit is about that, not about worshipping a person. It's about creating a mental model. A perfect standard. A standard of wisdom and courage you can measure your own choices against. The sage is an ideal, a hypothetical person who's perfected the Stoic virtues. They act with flawless reason, justice, courage, self-control. No one claimed to be this sage, not even the great teachers. They saw it as a goalpost. Always on the horizon, the purpose is direction. It gives you a clear question to ask in moments of confusion or moral friction. What would the perfectly wise and courageous person do here? That single question cuts through the noise of ego, fear, social pressure. It points you toward your own highest potential. Seneca often used exemplars. Real historical figures, people who embodied specific traits he wanted to cultivate. He wrote of Socrates, facing his passing with calm composure. He wrote of Cato, his unwavering integrity, even when it cost him everything. He wasn't trying to copy their lives exactly. He studied their character in specific moments. How did Socrates respond to unfair accusation? With reasoned debate, a refusal to compromise his principles. How did Cato act when faced with corruption? With a resounding, unshakable no. These figures became mental reference points, lighthouses in the fog of difficult decisions. So how do you use this now? It's a practical imagination exercise. You're in a situation that tests your patience. Maybe a colleague takes credit for your idea in a meeting. The immediate impulse is to call them out. To make a scene, to reclaim your territory, pause, bring the sage to mind. Ask, how would a person of perfect wisdom and courage see this? They would likely see the colleague's action as a sign of that person's own insecurity. Not a true diminishment of your worth. They would act with justice, perhaps by later having a private, firm conversation to clarify contributions, but they would do so without malice. Without reactive anger. Their calm would be unshaken because their self-worth isn't tied to that single moment of recognition. By modeling that ideal, even imperfectly, you guide yourself toward a better response. Or in a moment of fear, you're about to speak up about an unpopular but necessary truth. Your heart is pounding. Ask the sage question. The courageous person understands the risk, but values integrity over comfort. They speak clearly, with respect for their audience, but without apology for the truth itself. They are afraid, perhaps, but they act anyway. That's the benchmark, not the absence of fear, the commitment to right action despite it. This habit builds an internal council of heroes. You don't need them to be perfect in every way. You select them for the virtues you wish to strengthen. So here's a reflective prompt to make this yours. Choose one figure, historical or fictional, someone who embodies a stoic virtue you deeply admire. Maybe it's the perseverance of someone who overcame great hardship, the compassion of a caregiver, the intellectual honesty of a scientist. Keep that figure in mind this week. In one challenging moment, however small, pause. Consciously ask, how would they approach this? What quality of theirs can I borrow right now? This simple act of mental modeling turns abstract virtue into a lived, immediate choice. It gives you a companion for the journey. This habit is about taking the lead of your past struggles and turning it into gold. It's the 16th discipline, the journal of obstacles turned to advantage. You're not just writing down what happened, you're rewriting the story from victimhood to growth. The Stoics saw every obstacle as a teacher, a chance to practice a specific virtue, to forge a part of your character. Keeping this journal makes that process conscious. You become the alchemist of your own history. Marcus Aurelius gave us the key line. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That's the core belief. The roadblock isn't a sign you're going the wrong way. It is the way, it's the curriculum. The difficulty itself contains the lesson you need to learn next. This journal is your record of that curriculum. So how do you start? It's a simple, structured reflection. You take a current challenge, something that feels like a setback. You open a notebook or a note on your phone. You write the challenge at the top, then you ask one deliberate question. What virtue is this situation demanding that I practice? Is it patience because things are moving slower than I want? Is it creativity because the usual path is blocked? Is it courage because I have to have a hard conversation? Is it humility because I need to ask for help? You name the virtue, then you write a few sentences on how you can actively practice that virtue within this very obstacle. For example, a project at work hits a major, unexpected delay. The old story is frustration, blame, anxiety. The journal entry reframes it: challenge, major project delay, virtue to practice, adaptability, and composed leadership. This is an opportunity to practice staying calm under pressure, to creatively redesign the timeline, to communicate clearly with my team to prevent panic. The obstacle is no longer just a problem, it's a training module in adaptability. The power deepens when you look backward. Think of a past hardship, a period of loss, a professional failure, a time of deep uncertainty. Look at it now through this lens. Ask, what strength did I gain that I would not have otherwise? Perhaps a period of financial strain taught you resourcefulness. A betrayal taught you the value of your own inner integrity. A health challenge taught you to appreciate small moments of wellness. Write that down. Seeing the gold you've already mined from past lead changes your relationship with the present. It builds evidence, tangible proof that you have always grown through what you go through. So here is your reflective prompt. Take 5 minutes today. Look back at one past difficulty that felt overwhelming at the time. In your mind or on paper, complete this sentence. Because of that experience, I developed a deeper sense of, and fill in the blank. Maybe it's resilience, maybe it's compassion, maybe it's discernment in choosing your relationships. That strength is the gold, and acknowledging it transforms the memory from a wound into a source of quiet, unconquerable power. Apatheia isn't apathy. It's about not being enslaved by your emotions. This 17th habit, it's about mastering the inner storm, not by silencing it, by learning its weather patterns. The Stoics made a distinction between rational feelings and irrational passions. A pathe is a destructive wave. It overpowers reason, blind rage, paralyzing fear. Obsessive craving, spiraling grief, those are the passions. They hijack your judgment. They make you a passenger in your own life. Apatheia is freedom from that hijacking. It's the state where your feelings are informed by reason, not overthrown by it. Seneca wrote a whole book on anger, called it the most hideous of these passions. He described it as a brief madness. It gives no one time to think, he wrote. It rushes headlong into action. It's a fire that burns the one who carries it. The goal is to extinguish that fire before it spreads, to see the spark and choose not to fan it. This isn't about becoming cold. The Stoics actually aimed for eupatheia, good, rational feelings. A deep joy from living with virtue, a warm affection for others rooted in shared humanity, a clear-minded wish for what is good and within your power. Those are the emotions of a free mind. They flow from your choices, not from external triggers you can't control. So in practice, consider a provocation. Someone publicly belittles your contribution. The passion of anger rises like a heat. It demands an immediate, cutting retort. It clouds your vision, so you see only the insult. The person practicing apatheia feels the initial sting, the biological flush, but they catch it. They see it as a signal, not a command. They pause. They ask reason to step in. The reasoned assessment might be, this person is insecure or having a bad day. My worth isn't decided by this comment. My goal is a productive team, not a personal victory in a war of words. From that calm center, they can respond, firmly if needed to correct the record, but with clarity, not malice. The issue gets addressed, but the inner fortress remains unshaken. The passion didn't get to drive. This habit requires vigilant self-observation. It starts with noticing the early tremors before the earthquake hits. That tightness in your chest when you feel disrespected, the quickening pulse before you send a reactive message, the knot of anxiety that tries to predict a catastrophic future. Your reflective prompt is this: sometime today, monitor yourself for one single instance where a passion begins to cloud your judgment. It might be a flash of envy scrolling online, a spike of frustration in traffic, a simmering resentment from an old grievance. Don't judge it, just note it, identify the trigger. What was the external event, and more importantly, what was the automatic, irrational judgment you attached to it? Was it "this proves I'm not good enough," or "this is unfair and therefore unbearable"? Simply naming the trigger and the flawed thought begins to drain the passion's power. It's the first, crucial step toward the freedom of a clear and reasoned mind. The most rebellious habit now might be silence, intentional silence. It's a strategic retreat, not loneliness, not running from responsibility. It's the discipline of silence and solitude. To hear your own reasoning voice again, to let the sediment of the day settle so you can see clearly. The Stoics saw this as non-negotiable, a requirement for a sound mind. It's how you recharge the inner resources you need for the outer chaos. Without it, you're just reacting to the latest signal. You lose touch with your own compass. Marcus Aurelius cherished his early mornings before the petitions, before the politics and the endless demands of an empire. He had those quiet hours to himself. He wrote about that gratitude, to rise and say, "Today I shall meet interference in gratitude, but I have within me the resources from my quiet reflection." That solitude was his preparation, where he connected his actions to his principles, before the world tried to pull him in a dozen directions. This practice is the maintenance of your inner citadel. The daily checking of the walls, the quiet inventory of your supplies. Modern life is engineered to fill every second. Notifications, podcasts, background video. The constant hum of input, your own thoughts become background noise. You can barely hear them. The practice of silence is the deliberate creation of empty space. It's an active engagement, not a passive absence. You are choosing to meet with yourself, to listen to the questions that get drowned out. What is truly important right now? Where am I acting from fear rather than principle? What small thing am I grateful for today? The forms this takes can be simple. A daily 10-minute walk without headphones. Just you, your breath, and the rhythm of your steps, sitting quietly with a cup of tea, watching the light change in a room without picking up a phone. A digital sunset for 30 minutes before bed. Screens go dark, and you are left with the quiet of your own home, your own mind. It's in these spaces that the discipline of assent becomes easier. That the view from above feels more accessible. You create the conditions for your Stoic tools to work. So here's a direct challenge. In the next 48 hours, schedule 15 minutes of pure solitude and silence. Block it in your calendar if you must. Go to a park bench, sit in your car, or simply close the door to a quiet room. The rule is simple. No agenda, no goal of productivity or problem solving. No music, no podcasts, no scrolling. Your only task is to be present, to notice your breath, to observe the thoughts that arise. Without chasing them, to simply be with the quiet. You may find it uncomfortable at first. The mind, unused to the space, will try to fill it. But if you stay, you'll likely touch a sense of calm. A calm you forgot was there, a reminder that you are not the noise, you are the one who hears it, and you can, whenever you choose, turn down the volume. Your mind is a garden, and this habit is the daily watering. The 19th discipline is reading and rereading the texts. It's a commitment to consistent engagement. Not just studying ancient ideas once, but a regular practice of nourishment, realignment. Stoicism was never meant to be learned and then filed away. It's a lived philosophy, a set of tools. They need to be kept sharp, close at hand, understood in the context of your life as it changes. The great Stoic teachers wrote for this purpose. Their works weren't academic treatises for a library. They were practical manuals for the art of living, designed to be revisited, to be wrestled with. To yield new meaning each time you come back, because you are a different person then, facing different challenges. Seneca's letters are the model. He wrote them to his friend Lucilius. An ongoing philosophical conversation. Each letter takes a single theme, on anger, on the shortness of life, on true wealth. He expected Lucilius to read them, To reflect, to write back, to put the ideas into practice. The letters were a dialogue, a shared journey toward a better life. That's the spirit of this habit. You're in conversation with Seneca, with Marcus Aurelius, with Epictetus. Their words are a steady voice, a reminder of principles that chaos can make you forget. The power is in the repetition. Reading a passage once gives you the idea. Reading it a month later, after a setback or a moment of confusion, makes the idea part of your nervous system. It clicks in a deeper way. A line from the meditations you glossed over last year becomes the exact anchor you need today. Marcus wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. In a calm period, that's an interesting thought. In a moment of panic, it's a lifeline. And rereading is how you weave that lifeline into the fabric of your thinking. Before you need to grab it. So what does this look like practically? It's a simple ritual. Keep one Stoic text by your bedside, a physical book or a digital copy. Each morning or each evening, read just a single page or a single paragraph. Don't rush, read it slowly, then close the book, sit with it for a minute. Ask yourself one question: how does this apply to something I'm facing right now? Maybe the passage is about controlling your judgments, and your day holds a difficult meeting. How can you enter that room holding your judgments lightly? Maybe it's about the fleeting nature of fame, and you're wrestling with a bruised ego from social media. How can this perspective soften that sting? Connecting the ancient wisdom to your modern moment, that's the alchemy. It turns reading into training. Here is your reflective prompt. Pick one short Stoic passage, a sentence or two. Write it down on a small card or save it as your phone's lock screen. Carry it with you today, and at 3 different moments during a break, in a waiting line, before a meal, pull it out and read it again. Each time, see if you notice a new layer of meaning. Let that short text be a touchstone, a quiet recalibration amidst the noise. It is your daily watering, ensuring the garden of your mind grows strong, resilient, unconquerable, 1 page at a time, remembering you must die, and then meeting that thought in the present moment. Live each hour as if it were your last. That's the 20th habit, the final one. It's not a separate practice, it's the lens that brings every other discipline into its sharpest focus. This is living as if on dying. It's conducting every action, every conversation, with the full presence you'd bring if you knew it was your final chance to express your character. Marcus Aurelius captured it. He told himself to perform every act of life as though it were the last, to let no thought slip in that was out of harmony with that awareness. He wasn't talking about a frantic rush. He was describing a quality of attention, a reverence for the ordinary moment, precisely because it's not guaranteed. This habit transforms memento mori from a reflective thought into a way of being. It moves the reminder from your mind into your muscles, into how you hold a door, how you listen to a story, how you complete a routine task. The power is in the shift from someday to today. We often postpone our best selves. We think we'll be more patient tomorrow. We'll mend that relationship next week. We'll start that project when things settle down. Living as if on dying erases that, the illusion of endless tomorrows. It asks, if this were your last day, would you waste this hour in resentment? Would you leave this kind word unspoken? Would you do this work with half your attention? The answer becomes clear, and with it, a gentle urgency to act differently right now. So what does this look like in a normal day? It begins with the mundane. Washing the dishes. If this were the last time you did this, you might do it with care, feeling the warmth of the water, noticing the clarity of the glass. Appreciating the order you're creating. The task stops being a chore. It becomes a small, mindful ritual. Answering emails. If this were your final communication, you'd choose words of clarity and respect. You'd tie up loose ends cleanly, leaving no ambiguity. The quality of your attention elevates the action itself. It transforms relationships. A conversation with a loved one becomes an event. You put down the phone, you look them in the eye, you listen not just to reply but to hear, you speak as if these are the last words they'll hear from you. So they are words of kindness, of honesty, of appreciation. You let the minor irritations fall away. From this vantage point, they're meaningless dust. What remains is the connection, the shared humanity. This habit is the ultimate test. It asks you to live your virtues not eventually, but immediately. To be just in this interaction, to be courageous in this small fear, to be wise in this passing judgment. It compresses your entire philosophy into the present moment. So here is the final reflective prompt, the one that ties all 20 habits together. At the end of today, or as you plan for tomorrow, ask yourself this single question. Looking back on this day from the very end of your life, what about how you lived today would make you proud? What one act of integrity, one moment of patience, one instance of true presence, what would stand out as a testament to your character? Let that question be your guide, not as a weight but as a compass, pointing you in every chaotic hour toward a life of meaning. These 20 habits aren't something you check off, they're more like a loom, each one is a thread. And through daily practice you weave them together into a single fabric, a resilient one, an inner fortress, something that holds when the outside world shakes. That's the Stoic art of building a life not free from chaos but free from being conquered by it. It always comes back to the same themes. Your power isn't in controlling events. It's in mastering your judgments about them. Every obstacle seen the right way becomes material, raw material for your character, and each present moment lived fully is the only place peace is ever found. Marcus Aurelius wrote this line in the quiet hours. He said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize that, and you find strength. That strength is the unconquerable mindset." It's the quiet realization. The chaos of modern life, the relentless news, the digital noise, the pressure, it can't touch the sanctuary you build inside. Your peace isn't out there waiting for the world to calm down. It's in here, cultivated by your own conscious choice. So where do you begin? Start small. The act of choosing is the first step. Pick one of these 20 habits, maybe the morning pause before you react, or the evening reflection on your judgments. Or just asking, what's within my control here? Weave that single thread into your week. Notice the subtle shift it creates. Then, when it feels natural, add another. This isn't a race. It's the patient, lifelong craft of building a self that can't be shaken.